Hello, good day from wherever you are watching. My name is Choma Odikulu. You're all welcome to our webinar for today. You're welcome. And today we're going to be discussing something very interesting, something you are going to learn from. So say hello, say hi, let us know where you are joining us from. What are your expectations for today? What do you hope to pick up from our session today? I promise you, you're going to pick so many things that are going to be beneficial to you, to your children, and to everyone around you. So today we're going to be discussing about the legacy of grit. So this month we're reading two books in our academy. We studied Mindset by Carol Dweck and the second book by Grit by Angela Duckworth. So we're going to be learning about grit. So you're going to be hearing the word grit, what the meaning of grit is, how we can be more gritty, how we can build our grit. Yes, so that is it. But just follow the conversation because we are all here to learn. So the legacy of grit, your children, what your children will remember about you. So what legacy will your children remember about you? What legacy will our children remember about us? What legacy will my children remember about me? So today we're going to be discussing about the legacy of grit. So remember to drop in the comment section. Just say hello, say hi. Let us know where you're streaming from. Just tell us something. If you're here with us, you're picking up the lessons, what you're going to be doing differently. Remember, let us make it interactive. Yes, you're welcome. So as a parent, how will you feel one day if your child wants to describe who you are? If your child is describing you in 10 years, in 20 years time to come, what do you think it's going to be in that description? What do you think they are going to say about you? For example, imagine years from now, your child is sitting down, probably they're having an event, maybe a graduation or something, and your child wants to describe you, or someone asks them, can you tell me about your dad? Can you tell me about your mom? Who was your dad? Who was your mom? Was he present? Was she present? Can you just tell me about your dad or your mom? What do you think your child or our children will tell about us or are going to talk about us in 10 years, in 20 years to come? So will they be silent? Will they say things like, oh, I don't even know anything about my dad, my mom. I don't even know anything about my dad. What are our children going to say about us in years and years to come? Now, that is the power of legacy. What legacy do you want to leave behind your children? What legacy do you want them to remember you for? What legacy do I want my children to remember me for? Now, not the money we leave. Money is very important because as my money coach, my finance coach, we always say that money solves money problems. Money is very important. But we're not talking about the legacy of money here. We're not talking about the house. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Bethel, for joining us. You're welcome, ma'am. We're not talking about the house here. We're not talking about the trips. We're talking about the legacy. What legacy do you want to leave for your children? What kind of mindset do you want your children to grow up knowing the kind of person you are? What kind of resilience do you want to raise your children with? Resilience? What kind of emotional strength do you want to model to your children? That is the conversation. That is the message. That is what we're talking about. The legacy of grit. The legacy. Oh, thank you, ma, for joining us. The legacy you are going to leave for your children. Now, we must always remember our children are watching us, not just for what we do, but how far we endure. Our children are watching us to understand how gritty we are. Our children are watching us to understand if we are the kind of parent that can stay true to the end. They are watching us to understand, do we give up when things get difficult? Are we tenacious enough to wait to the very end? Do we stay even when the road is uninteresting? Do we stay even when everyone doesn't believe in our message? Do we stay even when things are difficult? Our children are looking out and watching. Who are my parents? Are they gritty enough? Do they have grit? Are they committed to the very end? That is what we are going to be talking about. So what is grit? Grit is passion and sustained perseverance for long-term goals. The passion we have as parents, the passion you have as a parent, as an individual, the sustained perseverance for your long-term goal, your ability to persevere for your long-term goals, your ability to stay true to the very end. Grit is stamina. So do you have stamina as a parent? Do I have stamina as a parent? Do we have stamina as adults? Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out. So grit is the ability to stick in with your future, to stay true, to believe. You've seen the message, you visualize, you've seen the picture, and you are staying true in and out. Even when you don't feel like it, even when the situations around you does not feel like it. Thank you for joining us. Even when everyone around you does not understand your message, even when the road seems untraveled, even when the road seems unimpressive, even when people do not get where you're going to, but your ability to be committed as a parent, to stay true to the very end, to keep your eyes fixed on your goal in and out, that is what grit is. And that is the message for today. That is the legacy I bring to us to leave for our children. The legacy of grit, the legacy of ability to persevere to the very end. Legacy is not what you leave to your children. It's not what we leave to our children. It is what we leave in them. Legacy is not what we leave to our children. It is not what you leave in your child or what you leave for them. It is what you leave inside of them, what you build them with. So the legacy you're leaving for your children, for example, a lot of us grew up with this mindset that, okay, I have to leave this, I have to leave this for my child. Yes, those things are beautiful. They are very good. But while at it, while you're leaving those things for your child, are you building your child with the skills to be able to manage those things you're leaving for your child? For example, you want to leave a house for your child, or houses, or money, or anything you want to, or material possession, anything you want to leave for your child. It is beautiful. It is beautiful. Are you also living in your child and building the skills your child can use to manage those material things you are leaving for your child? Yes, I can see the mentor that my husband said. Legacy is not what you leave for your children, but it is what you leave in them. So as a parent, what are you leaving in your child? What am I leaving in my child? Are you just focused about the material things? Are you just focused about acquisition of so many things, but forgetting to leave in them the skills they need to manage those material things? So, but today we're talking about the legacy of grit. Now, Carol Dweck in her book Mindset says, a mindset is a self-perception or self-theory people hold about themselves. So what mindset do you hold about yourself? Are you building your children with the mindset of grit? Do you have the mindset of grit? That is the conversation. That is what we should be thinking about. Do you have the mindset of grit? People with growth mindset believe their talents and abilities can be developed through efforts. So those people that have growth mindset, they believe that their talents can be developed. They are not the people that say, oh, my child is a talented child. Oh, don't worry, my child does not need to study further. My child does not need to put in the effort. My child is a gifted child. No! People with a growth mindset are people that believe that their abilities can be developed through efforts, through good strategies and inputs from other people. But today, our core message is your legacy isn't crafted in grand moments. Did you hear me? I said our legacy is not granted, is not crafted in the grand moments. You're waiting for the grand moment. You're waiting for the gram. You're waiting for the special 100%. Our legacy is not crafted in the grand moments, but in quiet consistency. Do you get that? Are we getting it? Our legacy is crafted in the quiet consistency. As a parent, you're consistent. Your child can see you're consistent. It is legacy. As a parent, things are getting tough, but you're staying true to the end. It is legacy. Legacy is not crafted in the grand moments. It is not when everything is so grand, you say, oh, this is the legacy. Yes, I'm living for my child. No, it is in those quiet moments of consistency. Those quiet moments of putting in the work. That is where legacy is crafted. Our children, they will not always remember a lot of things we do, but they can always remember how we responded to stress. Our children will remember how we were able to manage our emotion in those quiet times, in those moments. They will be able to remember how we kept on going when things were difficult. That is legacy. They will be able to remember how we as parents handled our failure. That is the legacy you're leaving for your children. They will be able to remember the did my parents believe in themselves? Did they believe in me? Did they believe in my goals? Did they believe in their goals? Did they believe in God? That is legacy. So it is not in the grand moments. It is in those quiet moments of putting in the work. Those quiet time of you being consistent. Those quiet time of you managing your emotions. Those quiet time of you keeping true. You lose a job, but you don't give up. You lose a job, you continue. Those quiet time of you're doing a project, but you don't give up. That is the legacy. It is not usually in the grand of the moment. It is all those small and consistent things you do on a daily basis. So we're going to learn the 4 pillars of a gritty legacy. So we're going to learn the 4 pillars for us to leave a gritty legacy. Number 1, grit starts with mindsets. Our grit starts with mindset. Your mindset is the blueprint your children will copy. Our mindset is the blueprint our children will copy. So what kind of mindset do you have? What kind of mindset are you going around with? What kind of mindset do I have? What mindset do I have about my children, about my future, about my career, about my goals, about who my child is? Our mindset is the blueprint our children will copy. So we have to pay close attention to our mindset. The fixed mindset is the mindset that says, oh, this thing is too hard. Oh my God, it is too hard. I am not built for this. I am built for soft life. That is a fixed mindset. But a growth mindset says, this is hard, but I can learn. This is hard, but I can grow. This software is difficult, but I can learn it. Driving is a thing. I can learn it. Swimming, I can learn it. That is a growth mindset. The mindset that keeps on trying. The mindset that continues. So what kind of mindset are you building yourself with? What kind of mindset are you raising your children with? Are you raising your children with the mindset that says, yes, you cannot wash plates today, but you can learn. Yes, you cannot read yet, but you can learn. Yes, this thing seems difficult, but we can all learn it. We can all learn it. Those people that are doing it also learned it. So what kind of mindset do you have? Remember, our mindset is the blueprint our children will copy. So in your conversations, do you express yourself with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Do you tell your children things like, you cannot do it, please shift? You cannot do, go and sit down. You cannot read. Go. Let me call your sister. Your sister can read. You cannot wash the plate. No, let me wash it. You cannot do this. You cannot sweep the house. You cannot dress the bed. No, let me do it. Do you know what you're doing? You're expressing yourself in a fixed mindset. You're not building in your child a growth mindset. But what if you begin to tell your children, yes, you're still learning how to wash the plate, but we can all learn. At some point, I was like you, but I learned it. I've not always been perfect washing plates. I've not always been perfect cooking. But we can all learn it. What you're doing is that you're teaching your child to have a growth mindset, and it translates to everything. So when they go out there, they are their place of work, and something gets difficult, they stay at it. They tell themselves, I am going to learn, because it has already been built at home. So what kind of mindset do you have in your conversations? Are your conversations filled with conversations of fixed mindset? Do you tell yourself that, oh my God, this thing is hard, I cannot do it? Oh, you cannot do it. You cannot play football. You cannot play table tennis. You cannot play this. You're not this. You're not that. Those are statements of a fixed mindset. But today, I am here to tell us that our mindset is the blueprint of our children. The blueprint our children will copy. So we have to be intentional with our mindset. We have to be intentional with the conversations we have with our children. So in your conversation should be filled with growth, with the mindset of growth. Your conversation should encourage your children to tell them, say, yes, I can learn this thing. Your conversation should tell your child that, yes, I can do it. Even as a parent, just take it. Let us even reflect. And let us reflect for a few seconds. There are so many things we can do now that we were not able to do some years ago. I remember when I really struggled. I was really scared of driving. But yes, I am learning, because everything is learnable. There are so many things as a parent you can do today. You were not able to do it 5 years back. You were not able to do it 10 years back. You were not able to do it some years. What happened? You learned it. You grew at it. So why don't we also build that same mindset in ourselves and in our children? So the goal, the idea is to have a growth mindset in everything, in our conversation, even even when everyone around you is telling you this thing is not working, but tell yourself, in this conversation, in this thing, I choose to have a good mindset. Now, every time you overcome fear as a parent, every time you overcome doubt, every time you overcome failure, you plant a mindset seed in your child. So every time you overcome fear, every time you overcome doubts, every time you overcome failure, every time you overcome a difficult situation, the situation is so difficult, but you were able to overcome it. Do you know what you have done? You have planted in your child a seed, a mindset seed that tells this child, I can also overcome my challenges. I can also overcome my difficulties. That is the message, the mindset of growth, the mindset of our ability to be gritty, our ability to stay true to the very end. You must always remember, our children are great imitators. They are imitating us. I don't know, but some of us, if you observe your children, a good number of us, you see that whatever you're doing, your child is watching you. Even the ones you did not know your child saw, they will even remind you. That is to tell you that they are great imitators. So give them something great to imitate. Did we get that? Our children are great imitators. Your child is a great imitator. My child is a great imitator. So can we begin to give them something great to imitate? The question is, what are you giving your child to imitate? Are you giving your child your fixed mindset to imitate? Are you giving your child discouraging things to imitate? Or are you giving your child grit, ability to persevere, ability to stay true and committed to the very end? What are you giving your child to imitate? So begin to give your child, begin to give your children. We should begin to give our children something great to imitate. Now, grit is built in struggle, not comfort. Grit is built in struggle, not comfort. This one might be difficult for, but that is the truth. Our grit is built in our struggle, not comfort. Your reactions in hard seasons matter more than your victories. Most times when things are going all good, well, victory, everybody's happy and smiling. But immediately things begin to get bad. Things begin to change. Some of us, our reaction begin to change. But the most important thing we must remember, when our reaction changes in hard seasons, that is when our children are learning. Yeah, things are going on well, they are learning. But those times that the season is hard, the season of which you are in, probably the season of life you're in, is difficult for you and your husband. It's difficult for you and your wife. Those times, how do you respond? Those times, your children are paying close attention. They are picking, they are soaking it up, and they are trying to understand, how does dad, how does mom, how do they respond in this situation? For example, you're in this season of life where you still have toddlers, or you still have babies, and as a parent you get irritated easily. As a parent, you don't feel like your children are the reason why you're not progressing. You just feel like those children are holding you back. In those moments, legacy is being passed. Remember what we said, legacy is not passed in the grand victories. It is not in those grand moments that legacy is passed. Yes, it can be passed in those moments, but we must pay close attention to those quiet moments, those moments where you feel that this season of life is hard. How are you navigating through your season of life? Are you making your child feel like you are the reason why I am stuck? Are you making your child feel like this season of life, oh my God, I cannot deal with it, it's so difficult? What message are you passing to your child? We must remember, your reactions in hard seasons, it matters so much than your victories. Always remember, your reactions in hard seasons, your reactions when your child annoys you, your reaction when your child is emotionally unstable, your reaction when your child is on the floor crying, throwing tantrum, and you think you are wasting your time, your reaction in those moments, it matters so much than your victories. Our children remember how we faced difficult situations like job loss, how we went through that illness, how we went through that hard situation. That is what they will remember. How did mommy navigate through that situation? That time mommy job, something happened to mommy job, and mommy had to stay home for some time. How did she navigate through it? That time something happened to daddy's job, how did daddy navigate through it? That time mommy was sick, how did she navigate through it? That time something difficult happened in the family, how did mom and dad navigate through it? That is the lesson. Those times our children are paying close attention, and they are going to remember those times. Even as adults, just flashback. When you were growing up, most of us can remember how our parents reacted when things were difficult. You find some people tell you, in my home, when we had money, when things were going on well, my parents were all together, everyone was fine. But immediately things started to change. Immediately things begin to get difficult. You find out that some people have those stories. You find that some people tell you, okay, things started to change. The home, people started quarreling and all that, because we can remember. Likewise, our children can remember those times. So the conversation, the message, what are you passing down to your children in your difficult moments? What message are you sending to your child when you are ill, when you faced a difficult situation, a job loss or a loss or something difficult, or your child is not doing well in school, in quotes, when that situation is hard? What message are you passing to your child? Our children will remember our reaction. Always remember, our children will remember our reaction. They don't need perfect parents. Our children don't need us to be perfect. They just need us to be resilient. As a parent, are you perfect? Are you even trying to be perfect? They don't need it. What our children need is for us to be resilient. Our children need us for us to believe in ourselves, to believe in them, to stay true, to be committed to the very end. We must always remember, hard times don't create heroes. Hard times don't create heroes. It is during the hard times that the hero within us is revealed. It is during our hard times that the hero within us is revealed. It is in that moment where you feel so down that your hero within you is revealed. It is in that time when you've lost a job that your hero is revealed. It is in that time where you're facing a difficult situation, that hard situation, you're just dealing with it. That is when your hero is revealed. So the question, how will you navigate through those hard seasons of your life? How am I navigating through hard seasons of my life? How are we going to navigate through those hard seasons of our life? Because it is in our hard season, it is in those times that legacy is transferred. It is in those times our children will remember our reaction. Now, it is good for us to understand that grit is modeled, not taught. We can teach grit, it is fine, we teach and teach, but we must remember the most important thing is modeling. Modeling is most important, and that is what we must always remember. So you can't tell your children, for example, to persevere if you as a parent don't persevere. You can't tell your child to stay true if you as a parent always quit. No, because modeling, it is the key. Thank you, ma. That's right. Hard seasons reveal who we are. Yes, hard seasons reveal who we are indeed. So that is the conversation. Do you tell your children to wait through to the end when you don't wait through to the end? Do you tell your children to go and read their books when you don't read your books? That is it. Parenting is modeling. Everything we do is modeling. You can't tell your child to persevere if you as a parent quits. If you as a parent don't persevere. You can't preach discipline to your children if you can never show discipline. You cannot teach, be disciplined though, be disciplined, where you are not disciplined. Because modeling is key. Your daily habits, your consistency, and your emotional regulation become their inner voice. Did you get me? Our daily habits, our consistency as parents, as adults, our emotional regulation becomes the inner voices of our children. How are you regulating your emotion? How am I regulating my emotion? Are you the kind of parent that throws adult tantrum? Your child is crying and you start to shout. You start to yell. What are you telling your child? You're just giving your child something. You're telling your child, okay, whenever, this is your inner voice. So whenever your child thinks about you, they always think, my parent is this type of parent that yells. How are you regulating your emotion? Are you consistent? How are you showing up in your daily habit? Because those things becomes the inner voices of our children. Even as adults, most of us can remember how our parents regulated their emotions. Some people, you would hear them say, oh, my dad, my mom, the way they manage their emotion was this way, not good, because we can remember it has now become our inner voice. It has now become part of us. It is now living with us because that is what we saw. That is what we saw. That is the same thing. Are you modeling to your children the right thing for it to be their inner voice when they are no more with you? Or are you giving your children something to heal from, like as my coach will always say? So what are you modeling? What's one hard thing your children have seen you push through lately? What is that hard, difficult situation? That hard thing that your children have seen that you pushed through lately? We should always remember our children will follow our example, not our advice. Our children will always follow our examples, not our advice. So what example are you showing to your child? What example am I showing to my child? Are you the parent that says go and read but you don't read? Are you the parent that says don't shout at your sister but you shout? Are you the parent that says don't beat but you beat? What example are you showing to your children? Because they will follow our example, not really. They will follow our advice, good, but they will follow more of our example. Then grit shapes our identity and purpose. Now grit shape our identity and purpose. Now grit teaches us that we don't have to give up. What matters is who we are becoming. What matters is where we are going to. Grit instills purpose over pleasure. It instills meaning over mood. So that is grit. So the benefit of grit can never be overemphasized. You know, we learn that we need to put in the work to be successful, to achieve our goals. We learn that we need to put in the work. That is what grit is all about. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that count, by Winston Churchill. It is the courage to continue the count. Are you courageous? Are you keeping true? Are you willing to show up on a daily basis? Even the Bible says, let us grow weary in doing good, for in due season we will reap if we don't give up. In due season, you are going to reap if you don't give up. In due season, I will reap if I don't give up. So I bring us this message of not giving up. I bring us this message of staying true to the very end. You're going through a difficult situation, a difficult season of your life. Yes, the season is difficult. You want to be like the other parent. You want to do this, you want to do that. You're not able to because of your season. The message is don't give up, because the Bible even says in due season you will reap. In due season we will all reap if we don't give up. So what are the things we can begin to do from today? What are the things we can begin to do from today, from this session, to start to build our muscle of grit and consistency? Number one, tell grit stories often to your children. Share your failures with your children. Age appropriate, remember? Yes. Share your failures and how you were able to overcome those failures. Let your children see your scars, age appropriate, and tell them the lessons you have picked from it, how you were able to overcome them, and how the decision you would have made now with what you do, with what you know. So share your stories of grit. Praise the effort of your children, not just the results. You can tell them things like, I'm proud of how you didn't give up. It's more powerful when you tell them things like, I'm proud of the way you didn't give up. I'm proud of the way you were consistent. I'm proud of the way you stayed true to the very end. So praise their effort, not just the results. Practice grit moments together. Yes, you can push through a hard puzzle. For example, solving a puzzle as a family. For example, doing a plan, a chore, that thing that you feel is difficult, practice it together. You can do a game, an activity, solve something together as a family. It builds in the muscle of grit. Then speak legacy confessions daily. For example, you can say things like, I am building a home of perseverance and purpose. You can say things like, in our home, we don't give up. In our home, we stay true to the very end. In our home, we don't quit. Say those confessions to yourself. Over time, it becomes part of you. Over time, it becomes part of our children. Then model emotional regulation. Teach that tears, prayers, rest are part of grit, not signs of weakness. As a parent, are you able to regulate your emotions? It is important that if we must teach our children grit, we must be able to regulate our emotions. So I want us to reflect on some questions. What will your children say about your character under pressure? When you're under pressure, what can your children say about your character? How can your children describe you under pressure? Oh my God, this one is even scary. How can our children describe us under pressure? How can my child describe me when I'm under pressure? That is what we should reflect on. How can your child, your husband, your wife, your children, people around you describe who you are under pressure? In those times, legacy is being passed. What mindset are you modeling right now? What mindset are you modeling right now? Are you modeling a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? What's one hard thing you are tempted to quit that your children need to see you finish? What is that thing that you really want to quit, but you know that your children need to see you finish that thing? What is that thing that is difficult for you to do? You really want to quit. You're tired. What is that thing that you know you are tired, but you know you have to finish it to teach your children great? Those are the questions we must reflect on. And in summary, we should remember our children won't remember the mess. Sorry about that. Okay, it's still bright. Our children won't remember the mess in the home, but they will remember the strength in your heart. Your child will not remember the mess in the home, but they will remember the strength in your heart. The legacy of grit is the legacy of greatness. That is the message. The message is to send out, to build our children with grit, to build them, to raise them, to live the legacy of grit, ability to be tenacious, ability to stay true to the very end, even when everything seems so difficult. So that is the conversation. And I employ all of us, I encourage all of us to go and start to build in this muscle of grit in ourselves and in our children. So that is it for me for today. So what would you be doing differently? What is one thing you're going to be doing differently? Drop it in the comment section and begin to work on your journey. And remember to pass on this legacy of grit to yourself, to your children. Model it daily. Let your children see grit in everything you do. Your mindset, everything we've talked about today, begin to work on it and begin to leave your children with this legacy, this lifetime legacy they will always remember you for, the legacy of grit. So that is it for me today. So thank you very much for joining me. I am so grateful. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate your time till I come your way next week, Wednesday. Oh, we're going to have a Wednesday live. So just grab a cup of water, relax, and join us back again for our Wednesday live. Thank you and see you later. Bye.